Hello, hello. Uh, Obviously, Riley here, and we're gonna do a Q&A. So, first off, this is in celebration of 1,000 subscribers, and I just wanted to say how thankful I am for each and every one of you, and just anyone who watches my videos and likes my videos and enjoys them and stuff. Um, I love reading your comments. I love seeing you guys enjoying my content, and I'm hoping to make more content for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, it'll be a fun time. It'll be good. Now, on to the questions. I have a list. I have a list. Here we go. All right, first question, just going to get this out of the way. This is from Excalibur on YouTube, and the question is, will you continue the After Hours series? And the answer to that is most definitely. Episode 3 is really close to being done, and I've got a lot more written out, which I'm very excited about. We also have the whole cast figured out, so very exciting. I'm very excited to keep making this series. It's one of my personal favorites. I love all my series, obviously. I've just put a lot of. I think I've been working on this one the longest. Yeah, I think I started coming up from concept to writing it out and stuff. I think I've worked on this one the most so far, but the other ones they'll have their time to shine for sure. I'm not going to give away how many episodes there are in the full series, mostly because I'm not entirely sure yet myself. But it might hit double digits, it might not. We shall see. On to the next couple questions. They are from RG Search YT. So these first two are, how did you come up with the After Hours series? And will we see more animatronics in future parts? So I'm a big FNAF fan and thought it could be really fun to write an original story with similar elements to the original 4 games in Security Breach, but also have it not quite be the same characters and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely wanted to play around with that because I thought it was a really fun concept. And as for the second question, yes, we still have quite a few animatronics to meet in the story as the story progresses, and I'm very excited for you guys to meet them. It's going to be very fun. These next two are kind of similar, so I'm going to read them both and then answer them kind of at the same time. So the first one is, what gave you the idea of telling stories on ASMR, and what made you like ASMR and use it as a way to make your channel? So I first discovered the ASMR and audio roleplay community late one night, and I'm going to butcher this name, and I'm so sorry. Via YC Narrates, Siren Sun ASMR, Nomad, Dade, along with many others. It just kind of snowballed from there because I was really intrigued by their stories and just overall all the stuff that they were doing, and I thought it was so cool, and I was like, I want to do that too. That's super cool. Then the next one is, what are your favorite kinds of stories to tell in ASMR? And honestly, I'm not sure if I have a favorite per se. I always am trying to push what I can do with my stories and the medium as a whole, because it's such an interesting medium, and it's always fun to try new things, and I think there's always new things I could do. So that's I don't really have a favorite, but I always am trying to expand what is possible and stuff. And there's a lot of people who do that too. In the audio community, I see people doing things like that all the time, pushing the boundaries, and it's so cool to see. And that's kind of what I want to do too. And the last question from them is, how did you come up with the name Dragon Song Studios? So, this is a fun little story. Dragon Song was the name of an original story that I started in middle school. And it was the first big original fantasy series story thing that I put a lot of thought and effort and all that kind of stuff into for a long while. And I really liked the name. Looking back on it, the writing was kind of questionable. I had no sense of pacing and stuff, and it was just, it's middle school writing. It wasn't horrible though, and I might revive it at some point, might not. Who knows? We shall see. But yeah, like I said, I really like the name. The studio part, was kind of me just wanting to sound more professional or official and stuff. And I kind of saw it as an excuse in case I did more than just the singing videos I was doing at the time. Because in my 14-year-old brain, when I made the channel, a studio does like multiple different things at once. And, that's kind of true. Because I wanted to do like music, I wanted to do gaming and stuff. And I wanted to do a lot of things. And I was like, okay, studios, that would make sense. And, like I said, just sounds very official. And the next couple questions are from Y/N, or your name. And the first question is, how do you come up with the lore for your audios, like the Angels and the Ghost Listener audios being the bad guys, for example? So, my brain is always generating ideas and stuff, and a lot of what I write is original story ideas that I will sometimes base on my what if questions from a movie I watched or a book I read, like those scenarios where I'm like, what if this happened instead of this, and so on and so forth. Or sometimes it's writing tropes and scenarios that I want to see more or like at all in media. And so, be the change you want to see and all that. But like it is very like it kind of varies like on like the story itself and like kind of like what's going on in my brain when I'm writing it. And like I just kind of like think to myself, what do I want to do? Like how do I want this to like stand out, or how do I want this to go, or like people to feel about this or that? And then I kind of go from there. And then their next question is, will you do more non-human listeners? I really enjoy those. I do too. And I definitely want to do more non-human listener script fills. And honestly, I hopefully want to do some original stuff too, with non-human listeners, because I do think those are very fun. And I think I would have fun writing it and like doing more scripts like that. And our next few questions are from Inspiration Nathan. So the first one is, did you ever imagine what your creative abilities and your life would be like if/when you reached 1K back when you were starting out? If so, does the truth surpass and or defy your imagination, or does it look exactly like you imagined? So, to be 100% honest, I didn't think of it that much, but I think I imagined it being a lot more extravagant or something. But I'm really happy with how it is now and the progress I've made and what I've accomplished and stuff. So honestly, I'm really happy with like how it came about and all that kind of stuff, because it doesn't really need to be very like fancy or any of that. I'm just happy with like the progress I've made. It's great. The next one is, would you like to voice act for an animated series or video game in the future? And what kind of character would you like to play if anything goes? Oh, yeah, I'd absolutely love to voice characters in a game or an animated series in the future. Like, that would be awesome. Like, that would be so cool. And honestly, I would take anything I was offered. Honestly, protagonist, best friend, villain, etc. I was just happy to be a part of the project. Next one is there a particular character archetype or archetypes that you feel is inside your comfort zone? Is there one that's outside of your comfort zone that sounds like a fun challenge to get used to? So, yeah, definitely for sure. I feel like I'm very good at like the main character's best friend type of characters, like nicer, bubbly, probably not very smart. And also more protective individuals and stuff like that. I'm very good. I sound younger too, so probably something in that vein too. Um, as for outside of my comfort zones, I want to do more villains and stuff like on my channel as a whole, and just like in general. I think villains are very fun characters to voice, and it could be a very very fun like little challenge and stuff to do to try and sound more intimidating than what my voice currently sounds like. And this one is, what characters from Roman/Greek and or Celtic mythology do you find the most fascinating and why? So I find mythology very interesting in general. I grew up on Percy Jackson, which is how I learned about a lot of it as a kid, which I know isn't entirely accurate in some aspects, but I've read into mythology books thanks to Percy Jackson, so it was kind of like a gateway kind of thing into a lot of things. I like gods like Poseidon, Persephone, Nemesis, Hades from Greek mythology. And I actually looked into Celtic deities a while back, and I think Bridget is pretty cool. She's the goddess of poetic arts, crafts, prophecy, and divination. And now I'm really realizing that you said people and not deities. Oops. I'm most familiar with Greek mythology, but I think it's interesting how Hercules is actually his Roman name and his name in Greek mythology was actually Heracles, because I think his mom wanted to try and appease Hera to keep her from killing him or something like, "Hey, this kid's named after you. Please be please be nice." And I also really like Psyche's stories or Psyche's story with Eros and Aphrodite in Greek mythology, since it's one with an actual happy ending, which is pretty rare in Greek mythology if you look uh and stuff. But yeah, so overall I think mythology is very interesting, and I'm always like hearing like new things or learning new things, which is very fun. And then his next question is, have you ever felt like live streaming could be fun? And what would you stream if you did? Games, singing? So, that's a funny story, actually. I wanted to be a Minecraft YouTuber slash streamer when I was younger, like growing up as a kid. And I'd stream myself playing Hypixel and stuff, which was really fun. I'm very awkward when it's just myself, so like, I feel like if I wanted to be a streamer or anything, I would have to have someone else playing with me that I could talk to, because if it's just me, I'm gonna zone out and I'm not gonna talk and the stream's gonna be boring. God, sorry. Hold on. um, and I want to do this thing for my 21st birthday where I do a Minecraft drinking challenge stream, or like after my 21st birthday at some point. But it's like, uh, still figuring that out and stuff. But I just think that would be very entertaining, and it would definitely be a fun stream. I just hit my mic. My bad. um, do you have a process for how you name your characters? What things do you typically consider to help you arrive at the perfect name? So, to be completely honest, a lot of them are kind of random or just names I like the sound of. Occasionally, very rarely, honestly, I'll use the name of someone I know IRL, but that's very rare occurrence. Um, in certain cases, usually with like villains and stuff, or just when the opportunity strikes, I try to find names with like certain meanings to hint things about a character. And sometimes I just think the name sounds cool or something, but like it really kind of just depends. It's pretty fun. I do like looking up names and stuff. It's pretty cool. And then this last question, I'm gonna preface this with some context. I want to turn a book that is written by Marissa Myers called Renegades into a musical. And I haven't made a lot of progress on it, but it's something on my to-do list, which is pretty neat. So that's the context for this question. And he says, are you planning on writing both the book and the music for the Renegades musical? Are there any other ideas for musicals floating around in your creative brain? And would you ever be interested in co-writing a musical with a friend? So, I was planning on writing the book and lyrics. The music part is kind of up in the air since I have tried composing, but I'm not very good at it at the moment. I do have a list of song ideas for the musical, and there are definitely a few other like possible musical like ideas going on up in here. Along with everything else, I need a pause brain for my brain sometimes. A pause button for my brain. I misspoke. My bad. But yeah, and as for the last thing, I absolutely would be down to co-write a musical with a friend, because I think that sounds super fun, and it just seems like a really fun, like a really fun progress to figure like all that kind of stuff out. And then the last question is from Rhonda Parker on Twitter, And she asks, did you start out as a voice actor, or did you start in a different medium or mediums before you became a voice actor? And yeah, I wanted to be an author since I was little, still kind of do. So I'm like still working on that. But I started writing original stuff and fan fiction on AO3 and Wattpad and like that kind of stuff. I dabbled in voice acting in early high school, but I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know about audio role plays and or any of that stuff yet. So I kind of fell out of it for a bit, and also I was just busy because high school and stuff. And then eventually I am here. And I have a lot of stuff I still need to work on or want to work on. And like definitely still figuring things out even now. I've only been doing it for about a year now, over a little over a year now, actually. But I'm still definitely learning, even if I'm not like brand new. But I'm really, like I said before, I'm really happy with the progress I've made, and I've made so many like new friends and like made so many like connections with people and like got to tell my own stories and like see other people tell theirs. And it's just very, very cool, and it's been a very cool experience, and I definitely want to keep doing this. And yeah. So, yeah, that wraps up the questions pretty much. If there's any questions that didn't get answered in this video, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, for commenting, and just for being really awesome and supportive. It's been a really fun journey, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next. And yeah. Sorry, you can tell when something's not scripted because I will just ramble on and on and on. But the bottom line is thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all so much. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay awesome, drink water, and yeah, have a good one. I appreciate you all. See ya.